Hi there, I'm Suzanne, your friendly Stampin' Up demonstrator in Canada. Welcome to my monthly paper pumpkin alternative video on my YouTube channel and blog. I share 5 alternative ways to use the kit in this video, and I sell the products I feature as well. I hope you enjoy my free video tutorial and would love to see you sign up with me as a Paper Pumpkin subscriber. Visit sunstampin.com for more information. Stampin' Up does a really good job doing an unboxing video, but I will do my best just to show you briefly what was in this month's Paper Pumpkin box. It was called To You and Yours, and it has a lovely Christmas sentiment stamps, some played papers here, and then there's these wood bits and stickers, and this was what it was supposed to look like. So my alternative today, the first one, I'm starting off with Whisper White Card Base. And I'm just kind of measuring maybe 2.5 inches on one side and 1 inch on the other, and sort of smearing it with my fast fuse there. And now I'm going to put this plaid on paper on a jaunty angle. Now I know some of you call it plaid, but ever since I was told by a Scottish person that we should call it plaid, I am doing what I am told. So apparently it is plaid, not plaid. Doesn't really matter, tomato, right? Anyway, I'm cutting off the excess with my sharp, large scissors. Stampin' Up used to carry these oh so long ago, but I now see them in Michael's, just in case you're curious. I have my piercing mat underneath my card here, just so that I'm going to make a good impression with the stamp. And it says, Merry Christmas to you and yours. And then these little cedar sprigs that came in the kit. And I seriously was going to put them white. Look how good they look white. But I decided to go with the traditional. And I am just sort of, they're all the same. So I like to make, bunches of 3. So I cut one of the ends off, and then that way I have a bunch of 3. Now this linen thread, this is cherry cobbler linen thread. It is braided linen thread, and it is so soft. It ties bows like a dream. And first of all, I really like the richness of cherry cobbler, and it's perfect in color. I actually really hope that they would have something like this in our annual catalog, but sadly not right now. All right, so I'm just using a glue dot, and I'm adhering that bow and twine around the twigs, the spruce, cedar bits, I don't know, the greenery, and then just put 3 sequins. And that is my first card. Surprisingly, this video is only about 15 minutes. So these cards came together quickly, and I could have kept designing. All right, so I have my Whisper White card base here, and the card base that came in the kit was this crumb cake. So I have cut it down just probably 4 by 5 1/4. And then I put this red plaid on top of it at a jaunty angle. Now, I don't know why, but I feel sometimes that when you are working with plaid, that it can overpower stuff. So I have like little bits of it peeking out here and there, and I think it works better. I'm not 100% sure why, but to my eye, I think it just lends to a better, it's not so overpowering, so that you can appreciate it more, if you know what I mean. All right, so I stamped the For You, and then I also took that wood sticker and I cut a circle out of it with my Big Shot. It was the stitched circle. And this is the Festive Farmhouse ribbon that I've just tied into a bow, and you don't know how long I actually spent on that because I edited it out. You're welcome. So now I have adhered the For You banner, which actually came in the kit, to the card just on one end. And I just used my bone folder to create, you know, a flapping motion. Now the dimensionals that come in the paper pumpkin, I love, by the way, because they're super thick. And I did put a little bit of vellum behind it for one reason only. I wanted to pop that circle up, and the circle was a sticker. So I actually had to adhere it to something. So I just used my circle Thinlit dies. So I used my Big Shot on those circles, just so you know. And now I'm just using some glue dots, and I'm gluing that beautiful bow. I love this ribbon. It's like burlap almost. Has a funny smell to it though. It does kind of smell like, I don't know, material. Does that make sense? No, not really. Anyway, it doesn't smell like ribbon. It smells like burlap. Surprising. Okay, so then I'm just placing my sequins in a manner that is pleasing to me. I don't know, there's no rhyme or reason why I place my sequins the way I do. Okay, for card number 3. So I cut down one of these red plates to 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. And I just measured that just this second. So I'm just placing it there for a mask for spacing. And then I stamped "It's the most wonderful time of year" sentiment. And then I put lots of dimensionals on the back of that. And I wasn't meaning to try to make it look like a present, but it actually looks like a present now that I look at it. But I was just trying to add some interest up at the top. And like I said, this twine ties beautifully. So I didn't struggle too much with it, but you can see how I have my retractable tweezers here, and it's because I don't have an extra finger to hold that knot down. So I have learned to use my tweezers there to hold it in place while I make the bow and fumble with my big hands. You know, you can spend hours making bows. So I took the backings off of the dimensionals, and I like to leave as much of the bowstring as I can without it interfering. So I tried to leave those tails long. And then just some sequins, and that is that card. So I have some cherry cobbler cardstock, and that is my card base. I also have some gold foil paper. And what I'm doing right now is I have the piece of crumb cake. It was the card base. I cut it down to 4 by 5 1/4, and I scored 1/8 of an inch around all 4 sides. And you can see what I'm doing here. That scoring is allowing me to tear the card, but not go crazy. So I do want to keep it square. I don't want too much of that gold foil to show. I want enough of it to show. And I want to see that white middle of the card, so that it just adds like an extra layer, if you know what I mean. And I'm pulling away towards me, and every once in a while I have to trim it with the scissors so I can get it going. And I actually really like that because I was able to have still sharp corners even though the paper was torn. So I'm going for a shabby chic look here. something a little, you can get away with doing this sort of thing on it with a masculine card. Maybe ladies might not like it so much, but guys always appreciate a good grungy card. And I mean, so do I, to be honest. And well, I consider myself a lady, so I guess I shouldn't generalize. All right, I'm adhering that card stock piece to my gold foil paper, and I made a smaller gold foil, and that was size, let me see here, 3 by 4 1/4. I just measured it. And this plaid part was 2 7/8 by 4 1/8. So again, I'm roughing up, I'm distressing just with the center part of my scissors. This is how I used to do it oh so long ago when we seriously grunged up our papers. And just with my finger, I'm running along and I'm sort of bending it. Not too much though. I'm not going crazy, and I could go more. Like, I'm a mixed media girl in my heart, but this I chose not to go too crazy because I still wanted it to look refined. And then, and that was on dimensionals. And then I stamped with my cherry cobbler ink. And this is put on with dimensionals, so it's double popped up. And you can see my lovely Band-Aid on my pinky finger there. I smashed my pinky finger into a very sharp knife and cut it while I was cutting my diet food, all of my vegetables and stuff. And I don't know what I did, but my hand was too close to the knife and I sliced right where my nail bed goes. Oh, it was like, and it was like maybe an hour before I did this video. So it was not pretty. My gory story for this Christmas paper pumpkin. So I'm tying a bow, and I decided to go front and center with this bow. And then I had to move the sequin because the sequin was in the wrong spot. So I just moved it off to the side. And I think that was my favorite card. Okay, card number 5, final one. I have my Whisper White thick card base. I have my cherry cobbler mat here. I have the red plaid and the cream plaid from the kit. And this is just an extra piece of Whisper White I had running around, and I made a mat for this guy. And you can do it this way where you're actually feeding it into the trimmer and trimming it. Or like I do with this piece, which I put adhesive on the back, put a white mat on it. And so most of the time when I do mats like this, I eyeball it and I'll cut it just like this. So there's 2 ways. You can use a trimmer or you can use your scissors. I don't know why I chose to do one way and one the other than a nice teaching experience. All right, so now I'm just adhering all the pieces. So the cherry cobbler goes down with fast fuse. Then my cream plaid goes down flat with maybe an 1/8 of an inch on that top left corner. Then I've put this wood paneling. I realized I haven't been using the wood paneling much. And then the red plaid gets put with dimensionals, and that gets popped up. And I love the dimensionals that come in the paper pumpkin because they're a little bit higher than our regular dimensionals, in case you didn't know. They're about the same height as our foam adhesive strips, which are a little taller. So I always like the dimensionals that come. The glue dots, however, not my favorite. Well, they're okay, but they're not as gluey as our mini glue dots, I'll be honest. Okay, so I'm stacking up 2 dimensionals and on one side, and then just one line of dimensionals on the other, because that red plaid one is up on dimensionals. So I wanted to make sure that I am equal with my sentiment piece. And that is it. I'm going to put a red bow on the bottom right corner and apply my sequins, and that's pretty much it. I did want to mention that if you are a Paper Pumpkin subscriber of mine, soon you will be getting a PDF that has a dozen more ideas for this Paper Pumpkin kit, and that should be coming shortly. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye. Also, if you want stills of these cards, please visit my Facebook page where I always post them a couple of days ahead of the video. Hey, thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. On screen are 2 more videos for inspiration. Click on the maple leaf for my blog, or click on me to subscribe to my channel. Thanks again for watching.